are you deploying the additional troops to the region for deterrence or to optimize your operational capability?
But we have a lot of troops. We have unlimited ammunition. We have the greatest equipment in the world. And we are decimating Iran. It's about time.
"20,000 soldiers. One order. Combat readiness. Now." Across bases stretched from coast to coast, the machine began to move. Transport trucks rolled up to barracks in the early hours. Soldiers poured out carrying rucksacks packed heavy. Clothing, rations, first aid supplies, hygiene kits, personal essentials. Everything a man needs to live somewhere far away for an unknown amount of time. They climbed onto the trucks without being told twice. The destination? The Middle East. The timeline open-ended, but the trucks were only part of what was moving. On a separate airfield, paratroopers were already rigged, main parachutes strapped to their backs, reserve chutes mounted on their chests, weapons in soft rifle cases slung over their shoulders alongside full combat packs. They formed two columns and marched. Steady, silent, deliberate, toward a C-17 Globemaster III sitting on the taxiway, rear ramp down, engines idling, waiting. These men would not wait for a runway landing. They would jump. They would be on the ground before the bulk of conventional forces even touched down, and somewhere else entirely. Something far heavier was being prepared, on a separate airfield, under artificial light and controlled silence. Ground crews were loading ordnance onto a B-52H Stratofortress.
2,000-pound bomb, or 900 kilogram, has around 430 kilogram of explosive material. This can create a fireball of 50 meters across with a 370-meter lethal area. Due to the amount of energy being released, the blast wave can make damages up to 800 meters or half a mile away. The bomb leaves a crater of 15 meters wide and 11 meters deep, removing around 1/4 of an Olympic swimming pool in dirt. That's all I have for this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Mark 84 general purpose bombs, 2,000 pounds each, nearly 13 feet long, over 1.5 feet in diameter. This was not a show of force. This was a precision instrument of destruction, being aimed at a target deep inside Iran. Forklifts and bomb loaders moved each weapon to the aircraft one at a time. Crew guided them into the internal rotary launcher inside the bomb bay. Others were mounted on the external wing pylons. Mounting hooks locked, arming wires connected, everything secured. The bomber sat low under the weight of what it was carrying. Inside the crew room, the B-52 pilots moved through their pre-mission checks with quiet focus. Oxygen masks tested. Regulators verified. Fit adjusted. This flight would last over 12 hours at high altitude. The oxygen system was not optional. It had to work perfectly, from takeoff to the moment they turned for home. Personal bags were packed. Water, snacks, checklists, spare gloves, mission planning materials, survival kits. Everything stowed. The pilots climbed to the upper deck and settled into their ejection seats. Below them, in the lower compartment, the electronic warfare officer and the navigator took their positions, ready to manage radar, navigation, countermeasures, and weapon systems for the entire duration of the flight. Then came the call. Aircraft ready. The crew walked out across the tarmac in single file. They loaded their gear, their publications, their mission materials, and one by one, they climbed aboard. All 8 turbofan engines wound up. Slow at first, then building. A deep mechanical roar that you could feel in your chest from 100 meters away. The B-52 taxied to the runway. lined up, and rolled. It used nearly the full length of the runway before the heavy bomber finally lifted. Climbing gradually, straining under a full bomb load, until it disappeared into the sky. Somewhere below that sky, at sea, a different kind of departure was underway. On the flight deck of an aircraft carrier, a CH-53E Super Stallion sat with its massive rotors folded flat. Marines moved across the deck toward it with their gear, climbing ladderways, moving fast against the sea wind. Their mission: link up with forward units establishing a camp near the Iranian border. The rotors unfolded. Engines started. Marines boarded through the aft ramp, found their seats, and within minutes the helicopter lifted off the deck and banked inland, leaving the carrier behind, heading toward whatever came next. Across the region, the sky was filling up. At Allied airfields, UH-60 Blackhawks were already airborne, flying in pairs and groups, ferrying soldiers from staging bases to forward positions closer to the border. Short flights, constant movement, land, drop off, fly back, pick up more, repeat. Hour after hour, the pieces moved into place, but the paratroopers were already there. When the C-17 reached the drop zone, the signal went to the troop compartment. Jump masters gave their commands. Every paratrooper stood, hooked up, and checked the static line of the man in front of him. One by one, they stepped out. Parachutes deployed in a long trail behind the aircraft, filling the air like a chain of white and gray canopies stretching toward the ground. Within minutes, the entire stick was down. Chutes collected. Rally point reached. Already moving. They hadn't waited for anyone. The C-17 continued on to an Allied airfield, touched down, taxied to the cargo ramp, and lowered its rear door. Vehicles from the unit's support element drove off onto foreign soil, engines running, heading to their assigned sectors without stopping. And then, everything converged. The paratroopers who jumped linked up with the vehicles and supplies that arrived by air. The Marines from the carrier reached their assigned sector. The soldiers ferried by Blackhawk were at their posts. Heavy equipment and armor were inbound on follow-on flights. Across every position, the same process began. Dig in. Establish communications, distribute ammunition, build the camp that would serve as their base of operations. No wasted movement, no confusion, no hesitation. Just a force assembling itself, piece by piece, with the precision of something that had rehearsed this moment 1,000 times. And then a voice cut through the noise. They're about to do a gun run. You need to get down. Let's go. Come on. The force was assembled, fully equipped, fully in position. 20,000 soldiers, Marines, and paratroopers spread across a foreign landscape, dug in, armed, and waiting. The bombers were already in the air. The targets were already selected. The only thing left was the order to begin. Sonnet 4.6.
They're about to do a gun run. You need to get down. Let's go, buddy. Come on, man.